Hi, everybody. I'm Stacy.
And I'm her daughter, Mickey.
And welcome to KiddieNomics. Good morning, everybody. It's Financial Literacy Friday with KiddieNomics. Hang on one second. I'm going to share my screen before we get into our special guest today. So welcome to KiddieNomics. So we want to thank all the new kiddies that have joined KiddieNomics today. I've seen like almost 30 signups in the last 2 days. So that's amazing. Thank you to all the new kiddies that have joined, right? Right, good job. And thank you to the recurring kiddies that are here week after week. You all are amazing to be here every single week, every single Friday at 11 a.m. We thank you so much. So we're gonna do a couple of housekeeping items, but first we're gonna start out with like, what is KiddieNomics? Why are we here? So we are here because KiddieNomics will help kids ages 8+ to develop a healthy relationship towards financial literacy, helping to start kids off on the right path to have a successful financial future. And that's what we want, right? Like that's what we want all kiddies to have, and you, right? To have a successful financial future. And so that's why we're here every single week, to teach you a new financial literacy skill that you will use as you grow into adulthood. So some housekeeping items. First, we'd like to thank all of the frontline workers, all the essential workers that have been keeping us healthy and safe throughout this time. So we thank you very much. Now, to remind everybody, how does KiddieNomics work? So we cannot see or hear you kiddies. This is a webinar, so we can only see what you write in the chat box down below. So if you have a question, please write your question in the chat box down below. Let me see here. Josh and Olivia, I see that you raised your hand, but don't forget to write your question. And Chris, don't forget to write your question in the chat box down below so I can see what it is that you would like to ask, okay? Now, also remember that this is a very interactive session here on KiddieNomics all the time. So we want you to participate. We want you to ask questions, because that's the only way that you're going to learn, by active participation. And that's what we want, active participation. So don't forget also to have your notebook and your pencils ready to take down any questions that you may have for our guests. But we are going to introduce, today we have Mr. Horace Dockery. We are super excited because today we're going to go back to investing, and we're going to talk about real estate investing.
Yeah.
Right?
So we're going to look for a house.
Mickey's like, are we going to look for a house? So today we're going to talk about real estate investing and how does that work. So did you know that the majority of billionaires started out in real estate investing? Like it's a really big thing. So we are so super excited to have Horace. Mr. Horace Dockery has been involved in real estate over the last 15 years. It's probably, that's probably older than a lot of you kiddies on the webinar today, right? He started off as an investor, so that's what we're going to talk about. And soon he became a licensed real estate broker in the Greater Toronto area for over 14 years. He is also the principal broker of Ailey Financial Corporation. Sorry, Horace, I hope I said that right.
Yaley, but it's okay.
You did, okay, sorry. Where he facilitates mortgage brokering and private lending investments. In his downtime, which is rare, he enjoys traveling the world and exploring different cultures and real estate. To date, he has visited over 40 countries. That's amazing. And plans to pick up traveling as soon as COVID-19 restrictions are lifted. So we're going to give a big round of applause to Mr. Horace. I'm going to stop sharing my screen, Mr. Horace, and then it is all yours. There you are.
Hello.
Hey,
hello.
thank you for joining today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Definitely. So real estate investment for kids. That's a very interesting subject, and I appreciate you giving me the challenge to try and explain it as best as possible, but I will definitely attempt to do so. So what is investing? Does anyone know?
What's investing? Mickey says she knows.
So,
Go ahead, let me hear.
When you finding a house. You're investing in a house, like looking at a house.
So Mickey says if you're looking for a house, then then you're investing if you're looking. Is it?
Okay, that's part of it, definitely. So let's dial back in terms of
Let's see.
investing.
Hold on. So Mr. Horace, so we have a few answers here on the chat.
Okay,
So,
no problem.
so Thomas says you can invest on bonds, currency, and stock, putting in money to make money. That's right, Renata. That's a great answer.
That is
Egypt
accurate.
says putting your money towards something. Mustafa says putting money into something so you can make more money. Maya says looking to put money into a house.
Absolutely, and those are all 100% correct. So you're right. Investing is a way to potentially increase the amount of money you have. And the goal is to buy financial products, also called investments, and hopefully sell them at a higher price. And that would eventually pay you in the long run. So real estate investment specifically deals with real estate. Can anyone tell me what a real estate is? Or examples of real estate?
What's an example of real estate? Everybody in the chat should know. Let's see. Maya raised her hand.
It's a property.
Oh, Mickey says it's a property. Mustafa says it's a house. Joshua says it's a house. Catherine, stuff to do with houses.
Yes.
Well, the kids are like, it's a house. Egypt says buying a property, a house. Good job. Yay,
Excellent.
everybody. A place you own, says Chris. Good job.
Absolutely. And here are some examples of real estate. Land, farmland, where we grow our food, right? That is a form of real estate. Also apartment buildings where people live. And also industrial buildings, manufacture, where people make things, your toys, cars. Those are all examples of in real estate that could give you returns that can be profitable in the immediate and also the long run. You also have shopping malls, wherever you go shopping. Those are all different examples of real estate. So real estate investment, okay, the best example or analogy I can think of that would—
All right, Mr. Horace, did you want to change your screen?
Oh, I could. Sorry, appreciate it. Thank you, moderator. So what is real estate and what is real estate investing? So real estate investing essentially is that the best example I can share that will give you a good idea of what it is. So imagine you bought a car for $1,000, okay? How do you think you can improve that car and sell it back for more money? Can I get some examples? Some ideas?
Could you say that question again?
So you buy a car for $1,000 and you want to sell it back for more money. How could you do so? What kind of things can you do to that car to increase the value of it?
Oh, that's a good one. So Maya says, fix it up. Joshua says, upgrade it. Mustafa says, make a taxi out of it.
That's very brilliant. Excellent. Mustafa's on the right track.
Mustafa's on the right track. Janaya says to clean it. Darnell says to boost the car.
Or you can take the money out from it and get upgrades and stuff
Oh,
on
so
it. And then
so,
after it turns into a better car.
So Mickey's saying to upgrade the car. Refinance the car, take money out of it, and then get a better car.
Absolutely. Those are some of the perfect examples of how to improve the value of that car. So the same rules applies to real estate. So here are the examples, the types of real estate which I discussed earlier: residential, single and multi-family, apartment buildings, commercial, industrial, retail, and REITs. REITs is a real estate investment trust, but we're going to deal with that at another time, not today. We're only going to cover a few of these points to illustrate how and why real estate investment is an excellent thing. Okay?
Sorry, Mr. Horace. Sorry, the kids are still answering your question. So
Go
Ryan
ahead.
says that you could turn it into a race car. That's really
What
smart.
I was trying to say.
Yeah, turn it into a race car.
Absolutely.
Somebody said to make an Uber out of it. Oh, Janaya says make an Uber out of it. That's really
Brilliant.
See, you kids are on the ball today.
Oh yeah, we have some pretty smart kids online here.
Right?
Sure.
Catherine says, so real estate is taking a house and making it better to sell for a higher price. Good job.
Absolutely. Excellent. So you guys are 100% on the right track. So the next question is, how do you apply that same strategy to real estate? So let's say I bought a house for $100,000. How could I improve it in order to sell it back for more money? What are some of the things I can do to that property? Can I get some examples?
What could you do to a house to make more money out of it? Oh,
To
Mustafa,
improve it to make more money.
to improve it.
I think what you should do is you should like start like from like I said with the car, like start like taking the money out from it, and then after start making it a bigger property. And
So
then after
refinancing the
sell it.
property to upgrade it. So I think that's what Mickey's trying to say. Refinance it to upgrade the property. What else can we do? Darnell says to paint the house.
Brilliant.
Chris says to renovate it. Egypt says to rent it. Astrid says to upgrade it. Janaya says add a nice, I think it's furniture. Thomas, you can also use money inflation to get more money. Darnell says to build on it. Maya, renovation. Thomas, you're talking about inflation. Mark, buy expensive furniture and then sell it.
Exactly. Those are all brilliant and excellent ideas. So you could definitely, things that you can do inside the house to improve it, such as, like someone said, paint it. You can renovate the bathrooms, make sure they look nicer. You could add a new kitchen. You could add a pool in the backyard. You can add new windows, doors, and a roof. These are all things that you can do to improve the value of the house. So you buy it at $100,000. And when you do these various things, people appreciate it more because they look nicer and newer. And as a result, they will give you more money for it. Similar to your car that you bought for $1,000. And you added the rims, the new stereo, and you made it faster. So real estate is all about adding value to an existing property and ensuring that as a result of that value that you've added, it can now improve it and make it more attractive to buyers. So those are all excellent ideas, and I definitely appreciate that, those suggestions. So tell me something. The challenge that many of us have is, how do we save up to buy a house? What are some of the methods that you could use in order to save money, in order to purchase a property? Can I get some ideas?
Some of you kids are raising your hands, but you have to put your question into the chat box. So Astrid says to get a job. Let's see. Sorry. Is one of the kiddies using KiddieNomics as their name? Please don't do that. So if you've used the KiddieNomics name as your name, please don't do that. Okay? Egypt says get a part-time job. Mustafa says selling money. And Catherine wants to know, what is a down payment? So that's a very good question.
Great idea. So a down payment is the amount of money you save up to put down on a property in order for the bank to give you a mortgage. So let's say the $100,000 example is the price of the house, and you do not have $100,000. Does anyone have $100,000 sitting around? If not, the bank will say, hey, if you come up with 5% of that, or let's say 10% of that, and 10% would represent $10,000, we will give you money for the remainder, $90,000. So the bank wants to see that you have an interest and a commitment to put your fair share in the property, and they will give you the rest of it. So some of the ideas that everyone mentioned, such as working a part-time job to save up money, is excellent. Some of the other things that you could do is, when you get your allowance, you can put that aside and save that. The other idea is birthday presents. Instead of saying to, hey, everyone, get me a toy or get me something clothes, can you give me money instead so I can put away for my down payment so I can afford or buy a house later on? You can also do the same thing with Christmas gifts. So these are some of the ways to use opportunities that people are willing to gift you things to get money instead, and let them know what it's for so that you can put it aside so you can obtain a mortgage later on as a form of, with that being a down payment. Any questions on that?
Jolada says she only has $1,500. That's okay.
I had $200, but then after I broke my tablet.
Okay. You can, nope, I don't think the kids have any questions about what you said. Catherine wants to know what is a REIT, but Catherine, we're going to discuss REITs at another webinar, okay?
Okay. So the mortgage process, which we covered with the, once you have the down payment saved up, and 1,500 is a great start, right? And depending on how much the house is worth, you'll be able to, your down payment would reflect that, right? So you'd go to the bank and you say, hey, Mr. Banker or Mrs. Banker, this is all the money I've saved from my birthday gifts, my Christmas gifts, and my allowance, and I want to purchase a property. Can you qualify me in order to get a mortgage? So the bank will say, do you have a job? And you'd say, yes, I work for this company, and therefore I am able to pay the loan back over a period of time. So the bank will say, all right, pretty much we feel confident that because you've saved up a down payment and you have a job, you can therefore get a mortgage, and that mortgage you use to purchase your house. So that's the beginning stage of real estate investment, okay? Let's say you do not have all the money. Another method is to find someone who does. And the best person to possibly do that, so to reach out to, are your family members or your friends. And you say to them, hey, I saw a great property. Would you like to go in and buy it together? And what you do before that, you lay the ground rules, which is we'll purchase it to rent out, or we'll purchase it to fix up and sell back. So that's another method and way in order to get into real estate investment. So you can go to your parents. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
So Mufasa says that you can also buy a house with just cash, right? If you have all that money up front.
Absolutely.
Mustafa says, if you're rich.
If you're rich, absolutely, definitely. Cash is king. So if you have money, a lot of it, then it becomes a lot easier to get into real estate investment. But if you don't, and you only have a little, then this is some of the strategies in order to get in early and partnering up with someone, whether it be your parents, your siblings, or friends, is an excellent way to start and get into the real estate investment market. All right? Any questions on mortgages and strategies? So,
no, I don't think so.
All right. So how is value increased in real estate? So we talked about, how's another method in terms of how value is increased? So we talked about earlier about how, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, the kids did have a few questions. So Maya wants to know, how old do you need to be to buy a house? That's a good question.
That's a great question. If you have cash, there's no age limit. Okay? But you do have to have some legal guardian sign off on it if you're under the age of minor, as a minor in certain places around the world and in Ontario. But however, once you have a job, a full-time job and a down payment, you can start right away.
Awesome. Thank you.
No problem.
So Catherine says, what if you're 6 years old? Hold on. Sorry. 1 second. 1 year old. So yeah. So I guess Mr. Horace is saying that if you are under the age of the legal age to buy a house, what is the legal age to buy a house on your own?
It depends on where you are.
Yes.
So ideally, the minor, I believe in Ontario where we are, if I'm not mistaken, the under 16, but I could be corrected on that.
So we're in Ontario, Canada, everybody. I know people are watching from different parts of the country of Canada, and we have people watching from all over America and the Caribbean and India and Brazil and all over the world. So every country and state will have their own age of majority. So you would have to look it up there.
So the other method in terms of how value is increased in real estate is demand and supply. So a great example for demand is everyone remember fidget spinners, where they were really popular at one point, and there was never enough. Did you have one?
I have like 7 now.
Okay, awesome.
Like 7 now.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, there was a time period where the special fidget spinners were not available, and there was a short supply of it, but there was a huge demand. And so there were some people that were saying, hey, if you have this special type of fidget spinner, I'm willing to pay you more money for it because it's not available, right? So as a result of that, the prices went up on fidget spinners. The same thing is true with special toys. Can you give me an example of another toy where people were, there wasn't enough of it in the market and people were willing to pay more money if certain people had it?
Pokemon cards.
There you go. Anyone else? The other example could be shoes as well, sneakers. If you have a limited edition, let's say, for example, Air Jordans, and someone else wants it really badly, or several people want it really badly, but there isn't a lot available, they're willing to pay you more money for it, right? The same rule applies to real estate. So when there's a low supply of houses available, meaning that there's not enough houses for everyone who wants one, it means the prices go up even higher. So if you own a house, that means you can sell it for more money because there is limited supply available. Is that a good thing or not? Go ahead.
That is a good thing. I think the kids are still answering at some of your questions. So Ryan says phones, definitely phones were in, I guess, short supply. A couple of the kids says Rubik's Cubes from Julata, Egypt, Rubik's Cube. Slime is a big one.
Yeah.
Right? Slime, every kid loves slime. Yeah. Sorry, Mr. Horace, go on.
No, that's fine. That's great. So those are great examples of limited supply, meaning that there is an increase in price now because those who really want it badly are willing to pay more money for it. So this is a perfect example of why real estate investment is a great thing, because there are times when there is a short supply because of economic reasons in the world or where you are. And as a result of that, there is a higher demand for those properties. So in places like Toronto, where we are, there are fewer houses available and there's a lot of people who want to buy. And as a result of that, the prices are going up. So if you bought last month or 2 months ago, your value could have gone up 10%. So on a $100,000 property, if you bought it, let's say 2 months ago, if it went up 10%, it'll be worth an extra $10,000 in less than 2 months. Is that a lot of money?
Yes!
Yay! We're all about making money.
Yeah, so Jolanta says yes. Janaya says yes. Who else says yes?
Well, it looks like I'm going to have to go into a $10,000 challenge.
Missy says you have to do a $10,000 challenge. Ryan says yes. Yep, all the kids are saying. Mark says yes. All the kids are saying yes.
Great. So those are some of the ways in which the supply and demand influence real estate values. So let's go back. So we talked about how we can improve a property to increase the value by fixing it up, right? And the various things we could do to ensure that the value increases. Now we talked about other things the next step is demand and supply, which means that if there's a few properties available on the market, then that will also increase the value. All right. So these are some of the ways in which real estate investment plays out and how it can impact people. So what are some of the benefits? What I want to go back to as well in terms of real estate, okay, is how other methods of why real estate investment is a good thing. So let's talk about rentals, okay? So remember that car that you bought for $1,000, all right? You improved it by getting a nice stereo. You improved the value by making the engine drive faster. You improve the value by tinting the windows, okay? All those things improve the value of that car. So now, let's say you want to say, how can I have that car pay for itself? What are some of the methods to get that money, that $1,000 that you bought that car for back? What are some of the things you could do with that car? Someone mentioned you could run it as an Uber. Someone mentioned you could run it as a taxi. So that car is now generating income for you. So when you get paid driving as an Uber, let's say you get $100 doing a trip for Uber. Now you're recovering your investment back of $1,000, right? So that means that that $1,000 become only $900 because that Uber that you're using the car for is paying you back what you purchased that car for. I hope I'm saying that as clear as possible. The other method is to run it as a taxi. So you're running that car as a business. And so that's generating income that will pay you back what you initially invested. So once you recover all that money, you will now have a profit that you can use to do other things with. So you can either buy another car or do wonderful things that you like to do for fun or reinvest to pay off your education and other things such as that. Now let's tie it back to houses now. So how you can apply the same rules to real estate. So let's say you bought that house and you say, okay, I want that house to pay for itself. So I can rent out the house. I can rent out the rooms. I could rent out the entire house. And as a result of that, every month that I'm getting rent, that money can come back to me to pay off the $90,000 loan that I got from the bank. And once I pay off that loan from the bank, I can use that extra money now to buy another property because someone else is paying my mortgage and they're paying for the expenses of owning the house. Any questions? Does that sound like a good idea?
So is it a good idea to buy a house and then rent it out so that somebody else can really pay for the expenses of the property? Does that sound good? Gail says yes. Ryan says yes. Who else says yes? You could raise your hands then. Raise your hands if you don't want to type in yes. Maya says yes. Janaya raised her hand. Good job. Yay, a couple of you guys are all saying yes, yes, yes.
So how many people want to own a rental property?
A couple of kids. Me. Me says Mustafa. Mustafa says me. Good job. Egypt says no.
No rental?
Maya says me. Thomas says Airbnb.
Yes, Airbnb,
Thomas.
Short-term rental. So people pay to stay in your house or to stay in a room in your house. And this is how you get paid to get reimbursed or get your money back from your initial investment of $10,000. You can also get the money that you're getting to buy another property. So these are very important strategies in applying in real estate investing. So when you eventually invest and make money, what are some of the things that you want to do with that money? There are a lot of benefits. Can I get some ideas if people make money from real estate, what they would do with it?
So if you made money from your house, from buying a house, what would you do with the money?
I would like, I don't know.
Would you go on vacation? Would you buy another house? Let's see. What does the chat says?
I would go on vacation.
Elias says, buy another house and rent that out. What? Look, we have a real estate mogul in our midst right
Absolutely.
there. Good job.
Brilliant, Elias. That's a great idea.
Janaya says, go on vacation. Chris says, give it to someone who needs it. Oh, Chris,
Yes.
you're so sweet. That is very good. Very good. Gail says, go on vacation. I think that's what she means there. Maya says, treat myself. Good job, Maya. Self-care is very important.
Absolutely. Those are some of the benefits of real estate investing. And so like someone said, you can make money and reinvest it, buy another property. That's how you do it. Money makes money, okay? So when you have money, you can reinvest it to make more money. And real estate investment is a great opportunity to do so. You can pay off some of your bills and expenses as well, whether you have a car loan or whether or not you have tuition, your school loans. You can help people, donate to charity, which is a great thing to do to help the community. You also get a great taxable returns. So these are some of the things that are ways in which you can use the money you get to reinvest in yourself and grow and help those around you as well. You can also go on vacation. That's something I love to do. So I invest so that I can pay for these items and some of the places that I love to travel to explore and see the world. So there's a lot of benefits to real estate investment. And that I'm trying to share with you today is how to get started and how are some of the ideas and methods in which you can do to improve your real estate investments as well. And that many people, right, that I know of, and historically, right, 90% of millionaires, and I know some, do we have any millionaires on the chat right now?
We have future millionaires on the
With
chat.
future millionaires, okay.
Right?
So, I love that. I'm hearing the brilliant questions and ideas. So a lot of times, real estate is the fastest and best method of achieving, becoming a millionaire. And so 90% of majority of the world's wealth is accumulated through that, okay? So I hope I've inspired you a bit to think about what you can do with real estate investing and how to go about doing it. In addition to ensuring that there's some of the things that you could do to improve the value of your real estate along the way, and also watching the markets to know when there is a demand for real estate and when the supply is short and how to do so.
That was amazing. Thank you so much, Mr. Horace. Does the kids have any other questions on the chat? Let me see about your question about paying, what you could do with the money. Ryan says that he would pay for college. I know somebody else said, oh, Maya says she would give it to church. That is awesome. Your tithing is very important if you go to church. Pay for school, says Janaya. Mustafa, he claimed it already. He says, I am a millionaire. I love that.
That's
right?
Brilliant. I may come to you for a loan, Mustafa.
Right? You speak it into the future. Sorry, Ryan, it's actually Jasmine. I apologize, Jasmine. Thank you for letting me know. All right. Is there any other questions for Mr. Horace? That was amazing. So as we can see, real estate is a really important investment in your portfolio as you grow older and start building your investment portfolio. Portfolio is a group of investments that you may have. And investing into real estate is a very important thing to do and to know about, right? So thank you so much, Mr. Horace. Also, to let you kiddies know that we did discuss mortgages on another KiddieNomics webinar. So if you go to our KiddieNomics YouTube channel, you can go back and watch that video, and then you'll get a more in-depth understanding as to what is a mortgage and how does it work, okay? So watch that one, and then you can come back and watch this one again, and it'll give you a rounding understanding of real estate investing. So thank you so much. I'm going to wrap up. So I'm going to share my screen right now. We don't have any other questions. So last question, as we always ask on every single KiddieNomics, right? So what would happen if kids became more financially literate? And our answer is
real change that impacts the world.
Real change that impacts the world, because we believe here, the more financially literate that you become, then the better educated decisions and choices that you will make that will positively affect your financial outcomes as you get older. And then that will enable you to free up what you really want to do and take advantage of opportunities and options that are available for you as you grow older. So we feel that financial literacy is one of the key vital life skills that everybody should know, and that's why we're here week after week, right? All right, so talking about weeks, let's talk about what's coming up, right? Coming up, drum roll, coming up in the next coming week. So Mr. Horace was today, August 21st. And then next week, we have the absolutely amazing, phenomenal, you guys are going to love him, Jeff Martin. And we're going to talk about public speaking for kids on August 28th. So you're thinking, okay, what does public speaking have to do with financial literacy? So we did a couple of weeks ago, we did entrepreneurship. And if you guys if all the kids are still doing their business plans and creating one for all of the many business ideas that you had mentioned on that webinar, well, then you got to learn how to pitch your idea, right? And how to speak. Well, Michaela needs it. Mickey needs it. So we're going to do public speaking. And so even if you're presenting in front of your class, if you do return to in-person school come September, and you want to learn how to speak and articulate your ideas, right?
My legs are just shake when I perform.
Mickey says her legs shake. So we're going to talk about public speaking so that we could enhance your skills in that area. And then after that, we have the amazing Keisha Johnson. She is phenomenal, and she's going to be talking to us about credit. So it's going to be a credit review for kids. Now, we've already discussed credit on KiddieNomics, but you're going to see that we're going to keep on talking about credit as we go forward, because credit is one of the pivotal things that you will have to know and understand for financial literacy. So we're always going to touch back on credit, okay?
Yeah, but why learn about credit when your grandma can just give you money?
Oh my gosh, we're back to the grandmas again. Poor grandmas. All the grandmas last week were probably gone broke with all the kiddies asking for money from last week's session. Anyways, please keep in mind that every KiddieNomics sessions are recorded, and I post them by 3 o'clock on every single Friday. So if you missed something or something was a little bit fast for you, you can always watch back this session and all of the other sessions that we've had on KiddieNomics. Every video or every webinar is posted on our KiddieNomics YouTube channel.
And you can always slow it down.
And you can always slow it down. All right, last thing. Let's talk. Listen, we want to hear from you. Our goal is to create tiny financial literacy ambassadors around the globe, because if you guys are an ambassador for financial literacy, well, guess what? You're going to help your family, your friends, and your community, and help educate them about financial literacy so that everybody surrounding you can make better educated decisions and choices that will positively affect their financial outcomes, right? So that's what we want for you guys. So we want to hear from you. Let me know, is there more topics, something else that you'd like us to cover on KiddieNomics? We'll be here every single week, so we need the topics coming in. And you can email me at kiddienomics101@gmail.com. I'm always open to feedback. I know I've also been talking about sending out a survey for the last few weeks. I will be doing that shortly because school is coming up and KiddieNomics will have to change its time frame from 11 a.m. on Fridays to most likely in the evening so that you kiddies can still join after school when school returns. I know some of you in America has already started school, so we will be changing our time coming up. And I think the Caribbean has started, I'm not sure. But anyways, Canada or Ontario, we're starting school in September, or we should be starting school in September. So we'll be changing the time for KiddieNomics. But you can always, please, we ask you to like and follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and of course our YouTube channel, and use the hashtag KiddieNomics or Ask KiddieNomics. Thank you, everybody, for joining today. Thank you, Mr. Horace, for the education.
You're welcome.
Real estate investing. That was really phenomenal. I think the kids got it. And so we will continue to touch on the subject of real estate, because real estate is also another pivotal one in your investment portfolio as you guys and girls get older and bigger, right? So anyways, thank you for joining KiddieNomics today. Have a great day. Bye.
Bye.